Hey everybody, welcome to The Basement. I am your host, Michael Gutierrez. Thanks for being with us. You know, we're here in Chicago, as everybody knows already, Chicago 3 Media. We're here based out of Chicago, and it seems like the snow cannot let up. And you know, to be honest with you, I think all of us are pretty much finished with the winter. Mentally and physically, we're just beat. Yesterday, I think it snowed about 7 or 8 inches. We have another 3 more coming over the weekend. I don't know what's going on, but you know, I think I'm ready for a vacation. Maybe we'll take the basement over to Florida. That would be nice to get a couple nice shoots over there. That would be fun, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? Yeah. Well, we got some sad news out of Hollywood. Hollywood actor Philip Seymour Hoffman was found dead in his Manhattan apartment a few days ago. Now, it's a sad, tragic event. They said that they found him with a syringe stuck in his arm. Reports are saying that he had heroin in his home. He had prescription pills in his home. And, you know, this is too common now. And what's sad about it is that it's common everywhere. It's common everywhere. But when it happens to a Hollywood celebrity, it's tragic. And, you know, it's tragic here in the inner city. It's tragic in the suburbs. It's tragic all over the country. In fact, it's tragic all over the world. It's sad. Now, also reports are coming out of New York City. They have 4 people in custody. They said that Philip Seymour Hoffman was seen going to the ATM 5 times, withdrawing money to a total of $1,200. Shortly after that, he was seen with a couple of men and a woman. Police think that these are the actual drug dealers, and they found them. They took these people in custody, and they're arrested. Now, I don't know what they're going to do with these people, but truth of the matter is it's very difficult, not only in New York City, or in New York State, but anywhere throughout the country. It's hard to convict drug dealers for murder when one of their clients actually overdoses. You know, Nancy Grace, who I love to watch, I think my wife's like, you turn her off already, you come to bed. I actually like that lady. She's so intelligent. Nancy, how you doing, Nancy? I'm a big fan. But anyway, Nancy Grace, she was reporting that maybe a very small percentage, like 5%, actually get convicted of something like that. And, you know, at the end of the day, it's like, convict them for drug dealing? I mean, if they're fessing up to selling drugs, maybe not fessing up to the actual Philip, but if they're fessing up for drug dealing, then, hey, put them in jail for drug dealing. And if they don't have records, then they'll probably get out with probation or parole, whatnot. But at least you're sending a sign. You're sending a signal out. You're sending a message out to these people. And it's just not, it's not cool. And they shouldn't just walk scot-free on this. At the end of the day, those 4 people are probably just going to end up walking. It's sad to say, but, you know, it happens every day. You know, and I hope his family gets some closure on this. Some funny news coming out of Chula Vista, California. This is funny. You know, I always got to give you guys some things to laugh about. Sometimes I just laugh at myself, so don't mind me, guys. So in California, there was a rollover accident in Chula Vista in the state of California. A California Highway Patrol I think about Chips there, maybe Pancho and John Baker or something. They got to the accident, and it's so funny. So the firefighters were there along with the paramedics. Now, the firefighters were partially blocking one of the lanes. The state trooper gets there. Instead of going to assist the traffic or maybe assist the firefighters or assist the paramedics, he goes straight to the firefighter and he attempts to make him move the fire truck. Okay, officer, there's people in a rollover vehicle hurt. The firefighters are there assisting the paramedics. Why don't you go and maybe assist traffic? Maybe dance in the traffic lane and, like those cops that do that out of Massachusetts. It's funny. But at the end of the day, it's like, why would you make a firefighter move the truck? This is a state safety employee, just like the police officer. And you're trying to make him move. Now, this is the funnier part. Now, by that time, the firefighter is saying, absolutely not, I'm not moving the truck. Why don't you go move traffic? I'm paraphrasing here. But what happens is that after that, the police officer handcuffs the firefighter. Now, this is showing an embarrassment to the California Highway Patrol. This is very embarrassing. I mean, I don't even know what to say. If I was the mayor of Chula Vista, I would probably be hiding somewhere because I wouldn't know what to say about this. Now, he handcuffs the firefighter. Here comes two more fire trucks. Right? They pull over, and guess what? The police officer makes them turn around and leave. Honestly, what the heck was going on there? What was running through the officer's mind? At the end of the day, the police officer ends up getting suspended. There's a report that the suspension is going to last as far as the investigation. Things like this, it just actually leaves me speechless. But anyway, it's not happening here in Chicago, right? That's for sure. It's too cold because the cops are not coming out of their cars. It's too much snow. It's too cold. Let me just work my 8 hours. Forget about it. I'm going home. Hi, we have a great show for you today. We have 4-time Golden Glove champion and currently undefeated MMA fighter, Erick The Ram Correa, Chicago's very own. So stay with us. We'll be right back after this. Hey, welcome back to the basement with your host, Michael Gutierrez. You find some interesting stuff here in the basement, right? Let's move forward. Hey, like I promised you, we have an awesome show today. Next to me is undefeated so far, because it's looking good, 4-0 MMA champion, Erick The Ram Correa.
I'm not a champion just yet, not in MMA at least. I was an amateur boxing champion, but 4-0 right now, and looking to do some big things here pretty soon. But as far as the Ram, well, my alma mater is Gordon Tech College Prep. Hopefully it'll stay that way. And one of the greatest and up and coming on the rise schools on the north side of Chicago right now. And of course, I'm wearing my Gordon Tech orange and gray and blue, which is kind of more traditional color. I love my high school, and I really appreciate everything they did for me. So that's kind of where the Ram came from, the Gordon Tech Rams.
So Gordon Tech's mascot is the Ram.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Okay, so when did you start thinking about even getting into fighting?
Well, I started boxing as an amateur in 2002. It was my first time in the Golden Gloves. I used to work for Bally Total Fitness, who's not around Chicago anymore. But I worked as a fitness manager, so I kind of hired personal trainers, hired a boxing coach in there, and he really got me started. Before that, I really had no boxing experience. But he kind of brought me in just to kind of use it as a workout, in a sense, and tried it a little bit here and there. He thought I was talented, and we decided to make a run at the Golden Glove title in the novice division. And so 3 fights in, I won my first title, and that was the beginning. And so that was the beginning of my, I guess you would say, fighting career, martial arts career. Now, he taught me a lot of, he taught me some Muay Thai, and so I was familiar with some of the other martial arts. But in 2008, I hooked up with the fight doctor, Coach Doug Mango from Team Kern's Martial Arts, where I'm currently training out of. And he was...
Now, Team Kern, it's a pretty big name now, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, and Team Kern's a huge name. Obviously, I believe they're the best camp over here in the northern part of Illinois, and so that's where I'm training out of. I'm training with Coach Doug Mango, Jeff Kern, and the team over there. It's Team Kern Martial Arts in Crystal Lake.
Now, people are, from what I hear, the boxers are not really too fond of you moving over and doing this transition of MMA fighting, right? I mean, what's going on with that?
Yeah, I mean, I think we're in a season right now where boxing and martial arts, mixed martial arts, for whatever reason, there's kind of a beef. It almost seems like there's a rift. And of course, I wish that wasn't the case, because with a boxing pedigree, I love boxing. Boxing is my first martial art. It's my background, of course. I've spent years now wrestling and doing jiu-jitsu.
How many fights did you have that were amateur, and then how many have you had pro?
As a mixed martial artist, you're asking?
Yes, MMA, I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, most fighters have a mixed martial arts amateur career. I didn't, and part of the reason is I had a...
So you went straight pro?
I went straight into the pros when I jumped over into mixed martial arts.
I can't even go straight pro for anything, let alone fighting. That's some talent you got there. And then to win, to top it off, huh? Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, yeah, so we kind of, when we made the jump into mixed martial arts, I had already taken 1 pro boxing match. And so the way it works with the commission, the way that they regulate the sport is, if you're a professional boxer, then you have to be a professional mixed martial artist. So in a lot of ways, my first couple professional mixed martial arts fights, even though they were against professionals, I kind of treated them, and in our camp, we kind of treated it in a sense almost like my amateur mixed martial arts career, which kind of speaks a little bit to the distance that I was kind of trying to gauge in my first couple fights, becoming familiar with the small glove and the distance with my opponent. But yeah, I would say halfway through my 3rd fight, and especially going into my 4th fight, I'm completely comfortable with the gloves and the distance.
Great. Now, when we come back, I want you to tell us about what you have coming up. Now, something big for your next fight, and it's really has the city excited. So stay with us here at the basement with more of Erick the Ram. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the basement with your host, Michael Gutierrez, and my guest, Erick the Ram Correa, MMA fighter, that is, of course. Now, Erick, everybody's waiting for this big announcement, but it wouldn't be possible if you didn't defeat Wes Anderson in December. Now, he was looking pretty beasting himself. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, yeah, so I got the call sometime late October that I'd be fighting Wes, and Wes is, Wes is a great mixed martial artist. He's had a pretty decorated amateur career, and so it was definitely a big a step up in competition. Taking the last fight.
Now, Wes Anderson was backed up by a pretty big name as well, wasn't he?
Sure, yeah. Wes Anderson was trained out of Greg Jackson's camp in New Mexico. He trained with John Jones, the likes of John Jones, Andre Arlovsky, Frank Mir. So he was in obviously a star-studded camp. So that was his preparation for the fight. And so for us, we saw an opportunity as we were closing out the year, because even as we were closing out the year, we knew that we needed something big to propel my career moving into 2014. And after talking to my wife, I mean, we make all the decisions together in terms of, you know, the direction of the family and whatnot. And so, yeah, so the fight was really big. It would have determined what was going to happen in 2015, whether or not we were going to continue fighting as a career or head in a different direction.
Hey, let's take a look at a little bit of that fight with Wes Anderson.
They're good.
The fight looked, you looked really convincing. You were definitely determined to win. Tell me a little bit about that. When you saw Wes going into the cage, I knew you knew Wes. I saw Wes, and I you know, everybody was definitely excited and a lot of adrenaline. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, first of all, I think I really had a resolve going into that fight that no matter what, I mean, first of all, you know, I'd like to consider everything that I do unto the glory of God and for His purpose and for His will, even over my own. And so that was my attitude in that fight. I was really resolved to compete against West, not really worried about my opponent, just knowing that God has gifted me, and that's what I'm focused on as my source for power. I mean, obviously, God's stronger than any opponent could be anyways.
I guess what I'm trying to ask is how fast did you beat Wes Anderson?
Three and a half minutes into the first round.
Yeah, and you know, he wasn't an easy fight. I know he wasn't. He was a great fighter, and he definitely showed sportsmanship at the end as well. But which leads us, drum roll please. Erick the Ram's next fight is March 14th. Why don't we let Erick say it?
Okay.
I'm not the one who won and beat Wes Anderson. What's going on March 14th, Erick?
So Brian Butler and Sucker Punch Entertainment, my manager, was able to we're able to ink a deal with Bellator for March 14th. So we'll be fighting. The fight will be March 14th on the undercard of Bellator 112, Pat Curran and Daniel Strauss 3. And that'll be a championship fight. It'll be on Spike TV. My fight will be against Daniel James, who's another up-and-coming prospect in Chicago. He's 6'6", 265 pounds. Yeah, he's pretty beasting
He's
as
going to
well.
be looking pretty beasting as well.
And that'll be aired on SpikeTV.com, in the prelim, starting at 7 p.m. Central.
Well, that's a huge accomplishment. And I remember talking to you last year, Eric, and this was something that was questionable. It was something that was attainable for you. We didn't have a doubt about that, but you were still questioning because of your age and your family and your situation and whatnot. When they approached you about this deal, what were your thoughts?
Well, this is the deal that we wanted. I mean, it's going into our 5th professional fight, to being able to I guess you would, in a big way, kind of say to make it to the major leagues of mixed martial arts, if you will. And really, I mean, this doesn't mean that we've arrived by any stretch of the imagination. We haven't arrived yet. At least for me, if this is going to be a career, my goal is to be at the top, the pinnacle of mixed martial arts. This is just an opportunity. It's a great opportunity to be on Bellator and to be televised, even worldwide through the internet. It's just an opportunity for me to show my skills, show my ability, and hopefully set up something for the longer term.
When we come back to the basement, we're going to tell you how you can get involved in sponsoring Erick The Ram. He's coming out of Chicago. He's born and raised here. All you Gordon Tech alumni, this is your man. He is the Ram. Welcome back to the basement with your host, Michael Gutierrez, and my special guest, Erick The Ram. Eric, you just announced that you're going to be fighting Daniel the Predator James on March 14th at the venue at the Horseshoe Casino in Hammond, Indiana. Now, this is probably your biggest fight right now, right?
Absolutely.
What do you do to prepare for something like this?
Well, first things first, step up our game. Right now, we as part of this training camp, we just started this week, the first week of February. Even though we've been pretty much going ever since the end of the last fight, but we have about 11 or 12 scheduled workouts a week, comprised of course, road work, boxing, Muay Thai, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Pretty much sometimes we get our boxing in at Sam Colonna's gym in the city of Chicago, where we get some boxing sparring. Otherwise, most of the work is done at Team Kern's Martial Arts in Crystal Lake.
Awesome. Now, I know I promised all the Gordon Tech alumni out there if they wanted to get involved in sponsoring you. Now, you have a couple sponsors now, don't you?
That's right.
Tell me a little bit about those.
First of all, after the fight's over, win or lose, win, we'll be heading over to La Costa. It's a restaurant on Chicago's north side. Unbelievable Mexican seafood. It's 3119 North Central. They should be open the first week of March. But then also we have, which is, I'll give you, we have a gift for you today.
Yeah.
And so this is one of my other sponsors as well. We partnered with Submitted to Christ. And you can get any of these shirts at submittedtochrist.com. And of course, our motto is that we are submitted but we're submitted to Christ. And as I understand, so are you.
Absolutely.
So this would be ideal for you.
This is great. I got my own shirt. That's it. I'm going to be rocking this that night of the fight. That's for sure. That's for sure.
And for Twitter, for you guys that have Twitter, you can follow Submitted to JC.
Submitted to JC, at Submitted to JC.
Submitted, the number 2, JC.
Awesome. Now, if anybody wants to follow you on your Twitter or on the Facebook, where can they find you at?
Well, my Twitter tag is real simple, Erick, but it's ERICK, Erick The Ram. And my Facebook right now, it's just Erick Correa, ErickCorrea, and that's actually also, Mike, where they can get tickets for the fight if they just contact me on there, and my administrator will take care of any ticket sales that anybody might want.
Okay, awesome, awesome. Now, for those of you, like I said, I promised everybody a shot out there to sponsor Erick The Ram Correa. We are definitely going to sponsor you, Erick, and we're going to help you out, and we're going to get there. We're going to get the cameras there. We're going to get the crew there. Spike TV is going to have to, get through someone that's looking as beasting as you are. That's going to be me. So they got to get through me, and we're going to make sure that we cover as much as we can, get you some interviews, get Jeff Curran on there as well, hopefully, and we're looking to have a good time. For those of you who do want to sponsor, you can find me at michael@chicago3media.com. I can direct you straight to Erick's management, and we can go ahead and get you involved in sponsoring Erick The Ram Correa. So it's been awesome, Erick. This was great for our second show. Thank you so much for sitting down with us. This was a pleasure of having you here on The Basement.
Thank you for having me, Mike. Really
Absolutely.
appreciate it. Really love you guys. Thank you.
Awesome. We love you. And good luck on March 14th for Chicago 3 Media at The Basement. I am your host, Michael Gutierrez. This was my guest, Erick The Ram Correa. We're out of here. So long, everybody.
This is Lisette Ramirez with Chicago 3 Media. We are at the Edgewater Vintage Garage Holiday Market, where they have some amazing, unique things, kind of like this chair that I'm sitting on. I don't know how it would fit in my house, but I don't know. Let's go take a look at all the other vintagey things they have going on here. I'm here with Melissa. She's in charge of the Vintage Garage. Tell me a little bit about this event, like over.
Well, we started last year in 2012, and our show is...
So this is still fresh, like...
Yeah, this is only our second year. This is actually the last show of our second season.
But it's going so well. There's a good turnout, especially for the weather that's out there.
Yes. So what we did last year was we had the event in the parking garage that's down at Foster and Broadway,
Okay.
but for the winter events, we've used this space, and it's just turned out really, really great. So, and because it's such a nice industrial space, it's very garage-like. So,
How did you come about, like, oh, I'm going to throw this event together?
I'm a dealer too. I'm a vintage dealer. So, getting people together and the dealers who want to sell their things, and there's a special group of customers that looks for this. I mean, these were pieces that were made in the U.S. and Europe. Since I was in my late 20s, I just got this urge to start collecting things, and searching for treasure, I guess, is kind of the fun part. Finding things that are old and vintage, and vintage is about it's not just about objects, it's about history, it's about things in movies past, and what happened before we were here, and all of that I found intriguing, and I still do. So it's always amazing when I walk through someone's booth and I see an old painting and you wonder, whose house did that come out of? Or whose was it?
A lot of people, like, I bet they have some interesting stories. Maybe we can pull some interesting stories from people here.
Yeah, maybe that doesn't sound like a bad idea.
Especially since some of the items are super, super old.
Yes, yes, super old, but super cool. And, everything is made better. Everything was made better back then. Things were still made in the U.S. and Europe, and, things
And now
last.
they just, like, follow. Where can they find you to join them?
VintageGarageChicago.com.
I love this outfit.
Thank you.